Hi there and welcome back to another video. Today you're gonna be taking a peek at my process of making the layout of my new coloring book. This Mermay I decided to be a bit more active on the challenge, and I actually ended up with about 8 or 9 pieces. One of them was for my previous coloring book I've been working for a bit, which is a circus coloring book. This one is intended to be a bit longer and I'm putting a bit more work into it. Instead, this one is a coloring book for my pieces for Mermay, which they ended up being 7. And it's a smaller book, it's more like a practice kind of book. I've already made out a book before and made the layout and everything, but this one will be my first coloring book. So I wanted to show you a peek into my process and as well give you a few of the things I've learned so far, which isn't much because I'm not very experienced on that, but if you're just making a coloring book that is digital and that's to upload over on Gumroad or CubeBrush or something like that, or just on Etsy for example, I think this should be enough. The first time I tried to make the layout of a book, I was so confused. I used InDesign the first time just because they were supposed to teach us how to use it in class, but they didn't. I was curious and decided to try it out myself to make the layout of my first book, which was a book from the Inktober of 2018. I fought against it, I tried my best, and I ended up knowing more or less how InDesign works. I'm not a pro, not at all, but to lay out these books that are slightly simple, just with a big image and very little text, I can't manage. You don't have to do InDesign anyway. I've heard there's a few good places on the internet, kind of like Canva. I don't know if you know Canva. It's more like for graphics, but there's a few places like that where you just sign up and you have kind of an app online to do the layout of the book, and I've heard there's a lot that work really well and are more user-friendly than InDesign would be, and besides they're free. InDesign is not. But yeah, I wanted to do it in InDesign because I'm stubborn just like that and I like to learn things like this on my own, even if it takes me longer to make. This time it was much easier, the process was kind of faster because I already knew where to go and where to click, and as I said, the layout of these books is usually very simple. You just have to upload a cover, maybe leave some pages for a copyright claim, blanks in the middle. If you're gonna publish it in Amazon or something like that, I will recommend you leave a blank page in between each coloring page, because the bleed out, or I don't know really how the quality is on the Amazon books. I got mine first done on there, but it wasn't a coloring book, so I can't talk about that. I will definitely leave a blank page in the middle, so take that into account when you're making the layout. In this case, I'm not, because I'm not gonna make a physical copy of it, I'm just gonna sell it online. So for this, I just made a layout with a few more pages than it had to be, so there were 7 illustrations, I made 7 pages, plus the cover, plus the back cover, plus a few pages in the middle for the copyright claim, just a blank page or a page that will get a little graphic before starting the actual illustrations, or something like that. I wasn't very sure of the structure of a coloring book. I mean, of course, cover, coloring pages, and then back cover, but just in case I needed to add something else, I decided to buy a coloring book from an artist I know. In my case, I went for Miss Pacey. Her name is Ashley, I believe, but she goes on the internet by Miss Pacey, and she has a CubeBrush store, and she has a few of her coloring books, sketchbooks, and stuff like that there. So I decided to do just a quick digital download. It was fairly cheap. I can use it for coloring anyway, but I also downloaded it to see how an artist that has done coloring books before does the layout of her book. I mean, not for straight out copying it, but just to know how they do it. And I will recommend doing something like this. In any case, I mean, if you're making a comic book and you don't know how the layout works, try to see comics and copy that. I mean, adapt it to your style, of course. We all learn from seeing how other people do things. Basically, in this video you will see me putting together a few pages, and also you will see me playing a bit with the illustration I'm planning to put on the cover. I'm still not completely sure about how to call it. So I was playing with that in Photoshop with the illustration that I had colored versus the line work, and I'm planning to move it to Canva. I will have links about the things I mentioned. I will have links to Canva, I will have links to Misa Base's store if you want to check that out and everything. But yeah, I'm using Canva later to add the graphics because Canva has a lot of fonts and it's kind of flexible in that way. I don't like using InDesign that much for the font part because I just don't like it. I will either use Photoshop for the whole thing, but then I've discovered Canva and I think it will be best and it will look better if I do it there. Of course, you could also do it with Photoshop or any other editing program. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know how I've been doing this, because when I started I was very lost. So in case this helps out someone, if you have questions, please leave them down below, because I know this was more of a chatty video where I tell you, well, I'm doing this and that, but I do know a bit more than what I'm telling here, but I'm just not sure how to address every little doubt someone might have, because they might be different depending on your level or what you've used before or whatever. So if you have any doubts, let me know. I'll try my best to help you out. Just keep in mind I'm not a professional on editing books either, or making layouts or anything. I've just tried it a couple of times and I'm slightly familiar with how it works, but I still have a lot of work to do. Hopefully I will have this done and available in a week or week and a half. When I do, I will have links down below if you're interested. It will be slightly cheap because it's an online book and it's kind of short, because I do a lot of line work and I love doing line work. So I decided to do this practice book to have available. I'll probably be opening up a QBrush or Gumroad store very soon to put that on, and I'll probably have it available on my blog website as soon as I give it a bit of a face change. I'm gonna be changing the blog's domain to my own name. I'm already working on that. It's gonna be more of a website, portfolio and blog kind of thing, because I decided it will be working better for what I'm doing, because I'm using my name on most of the social media and I want to be known also as an artist and a blogger, so I think I will integrate that. Instead of Confessions of an Art Addict, now it's gonna be my name. So that was all. If this helped you in some way, please give it a like, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!